My name is Lennox Campello, Lenny Campello. I'm at the gorgeous Glenview Mansion in Rockville, Maryland, where I just finished jurying the Rockville Arts League Spring Show. Very, very difficult task. First of all, I am honored to have been selected as the judge. It was a very difficult competition because there are so many talented artists in here. There was wonderful sculpture. I can't recall the last time in a jury show that I seen so many pieces of sculpture. It's usually the ones that has the least. A lot of good drawings, colors, and a lot of excellent painting. Behind me is the Best in Show piece by Lillian Blum. However, before I start talking about her, I want to talk a little bit more about the Rockville Art League before I start talking about this wonderful piece and what it's doing for 21st century artwork. I have a background where I am an artist myself. I have curated over 200 art shows. Most recently, I had published by Schiffer Press, 100 Artists of Washington, D.C., a compendium of 100 artists, one of the first of 3 volumes to come on Washington, D.C. artists. And some of you may have even seen me or heard me on NPR talking about Washington art. This was an especially difficult show because of not only the talent pool of the Rockville Arts League and was up there in the running. There was an Appleton etching of a fence, which again technically was superbly well done, but the nuance, the minimalism in the way that it was presented also made it very strong. The sculpture pieces were also a strong subset. There was a gorgeous piece of a head that I absolutely fell in love with. And the watercolors, it's interesting, the watercolors, the subject matter is something that you see in watercolors all over the place, but the technical handling of the watercolor, the most difficult of media, also made it stand out. But let's talk about the Best in Show. What we have here is digital painting. Painting brought to the 21st century. This is where the artist Lillian Blum is using the computer. It's using zeros and one as her brush. Just like cavemen probably started with their fingers painting in the caves of France and Spain, and it probably eventually made brushes out of animal hair, and then at some point down the road, painting was transformed when somebody invented the airbrush, right? So the instrument, does it really matter? Does it have to be a brush? No. So the computer is the 21st century brush for a lot of painters. This is a perfectly brilliant example of that. What the artist has done here in this digital painting is started with a photograph or two, I assume, and developed it into a painting. We are seduced by the range of colors that she has done. When I first saw this from across the room, the first impression that I got, in fact, was its unintended but nonetheless visual association that I found with the Washington Color School, the stripe painters. Because what you see are bands of color. She has seduced this. The artist has seduced us into looking at a figure, sort of a ghostly figure of a female form, when in fact what she really intends us to do is to look at the color. The explosion of color out of this dark surrounding background, and the way she has nuanced that, surrounded by cool color so that it even pops into our mind even stronger, is something that a painter does. Again, zeros and one as the brush to deliver something that has been delivered in a composition which is smart and intelligent and uses as the main weapon being flexed here in this particular piece is the brilliance of the color to pop out of it and the employment of the color itself to deliver the ultimate goal, which is saying this piece, this 21st century painting is about color. It's not about a computer, it's not about zeros and ones, it's not even about the canvas which it has been printed on. It's about color. Look what I can do with color, and look what my digital brush can deliver. The same beautiful delivery that a regular sable brush did in the 20th century. The presentation, and as a juror, I'm a stickler for presentation. Those of you who are seeing this and have been at the receiving end of my little stickies know that presentation is very important to me. And again, presentation is professional, which never ever hurts in a competition. But what carried the Best in Show here was the manipulation of the media, the bringing of painting to the 21st century, which many artists are doing all over the place. And this artist has succeeded and achieved very, very well.